Good afternoon, almost good evening for those of you who are on the East Coast. Good to be here. It is a cold and rainy November. Wait, December. Wait, where are we at? No, we're in November. I'm ahead of myself. I'm planning things for December. So in my mind, I'm thinking December already, but it's November. And I'm really looking forward to Sagittarius season because I'm a Sagittarius and December is my favorite time of year because I get to celebrate my birthday and holidays and be with loved ones. So, okay, today I'm bringing to you when income falls, your calling calls. This is for my sisters who have recently been let go, lost their job, business revenues slowed down, contracts have been lost, income has taken a nosedive. Security, job security, not there. For those who are looking for work and cannot seem to get an interview or responses from recruiters. I see it a lot on LinkedIn um, about how long it's been taking many of us to land a job. And I just wanted to talk about this because mm, this is especially because when I've been in like my prosperity exchange, it's a group I have every Friday, and just in other conversations that I'm having on the side with women here on LinkedIn, it's always been known to me and also applies to myself that most of us are the ones who have gotten to the level of success that we have professionally. First ones to have a business, maybe graduate college, the breadwinner in the family, the helper, the supporter, the go-to person to bail out other loved ones financially, and having this weight of I'm the one to take care of everyone. It's all on me. That's a specific phrase that I recently heard from somebody who was considering getting some coaching. And that's what she said. It's all on me. And I could totally relate to that. I still relate to that. And when there is that loss that we're seeing, and we're seeing the headlines, and we know we're part of that three. Well, I'm not, because I'm not one of those Black women that have been let go from employment, but many of you are. Many of our other sisters, Latinas, Asians, you name it, have been let go from positions. And a lot of, as the one who's made it in the family, the one who people depend on, the one who's a single mother, now not having that income coming through, what that does, and when we see that in the headlines about how we're being affected, it's jarring and it's scary, and it can feel um, there can be individuals can experience different emotions that come from that personally. There could be shame, um, maybe not being in a position that you wanted to be if you were to lose a job. There's that grief, especially if it's for somebody that worked somewhere for a long time. There's the pressure, there's the anxiety, the uncertainty, all of that. And all of that feels, unsafe. How can we feel safe when those are the experiences that are coming up? Some may be feeling like you're feeling like you're feeling like you're feeling. You like how I said that? Maybe you're failing your family, or embarrassed or confused about what do I do next? What am I supposed to do? What do I know? What do I do? And just that sense of loss. For me, one of my things is that I think I posted about this yesterday, day before. Um, that feeling of that rug being pulled from under me, because I grew and how comfortable that can feel for me because I grew up in a household where I did not feel safe. So for me, I naturally gravitate towards that because that unsafe feeling is familiar. And when we're in that, though, when we're experiencing that, oh boy, how are we supposed to be able to look ahead and put one step in front of the other when, doggone it, I don't know about you, but it's just exhausting on top of everything else that we've dealt with over the years, right? So I just really thought that I wanted to bring to you an invitation. I've been seeing out there, how Black women are taking this time to pour into themselves and love themselves. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I would love for us to consider that as individuals, when we're doing this, what is it doing collectively as a group for those of us who are in the circumstance? And we start to pour into ourselves and hear what is being our calling, what we're being called to do or be. Because when we step into that, just imagine what the future holds if we all just did that. Because I guess I can share a personal story on this so that you can kind of understand that I understand what this is like. I've been through various phases of this throughout my life, and the one that stands out the most, where I completely was at my knees, was in 2016, 2017, when I had lost everything. When I say lost everything, I'd lost my home. I had lost significant amounts of custody of my child. I had lost my esteem. I mean, I didn't have much before, but it was really gone. And I was brought down to my knees. And for a long time leading up to that point, I was a victim. And I had the mindset and thinking of a victim, of not understanding why this is happening to me. Why can't I accomplish being my life like her? Why am I doing this? Why is the same thing always happening? Why am I feeling so? So it was a victim mentality that I had, and I didn't know any other way because I just didn't know. But when that happened, it was like I was cracked open. And if you feel like you've been cracked open, right where you are right now, those of you who that are in this group that I've just talked about, of being the leader, the one that family goes to, and you've lost your means of supporting and helping, and you're just feeling so overwhelmed and you're feeling cracked open. It's a beautiful time right now for you, and I invite you to really find a way to hold space for that and honor what's happening. I'm not saying to dismiss the pain. I'm not saying to bypass the grief. I'm not even saying to not be angry. All of those things are, we've got to feel them. We've got to feel those emotions in a way that we can have them move through us, and pouring into yourself. And why I'm so like, for example, when I had lost everything, right? I was on public assistance at that time. Again, I posted about it, how I was a teenager, but this has also happened in 2016, 17. And the amount of shame that I had, because I had been a licensed financial advisor and I found myself in this position, but I'm a human being. I'm a woman who'd gotten out of an extremely abusive relationship that went on for 7.5 years. And I was dealing with the court system, who was also harming me at that time, and all kind of stuff, even employment issues I was having with employers. Okay. So by losing those things, the material things, I got rid of all my stuff in my home. I just had my car. I was renting a room while I could. And I remember one time I was going through, I mean, a very little, like a little notebook for what my expenses were. And it was the beginning of the month, and I had $24 that I could count on to get through the month. After, you know, I was able to pay some bills and the basics, the rent, my phone bill, and that was money for gas. And I actually wrote that in my journal, how I was grateful for the $24 that I had. And I had gotten into a place of having gratitude for what was available to me right then. That $24 was so meaningful, because that $24 meant I could get gas in my car and I could still go to work. I could get gas in my car and I could still be able to go visit my child. I had gas in my car and I could still be able to go to the gym, which, by the way, I was kind of doing some trade at that time, I think, for that gym, just to be able to work out there. So, and there were other situations too that happened throughout the time when I was going through this whole legal situation with my daughter, that I had kept losing things, like losing ground, losing more time with her. And I remember when there was a big shift in me, when I looked at this as this, I'm not losing anything. I am going to do everything that I can to get healthy so that I can be so that I can have the peace that I want, because I didn't have it, and that's all that I wanted. For a long time, all I wanted was the pain to go away. I just wanted the pain to stop. It was really peace that I was seeking. And so I did just that. And the way that I did that was in community with other women. I was reading a lot. I was open to different authors that came my way. That's how I was introduced to Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, Marianne Williamson, Gabrielle Bernstein, Michael Beckwith. Who else is there? There are a few others. Okay. I started listening. I just really poured into myself. I got off social media. I wasn't even listening to the radio. When I was in my car and I was driving, I would listen to an audiobook to one of those authors. When I would wake up in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep, I would listen to the audiobook of those authors. When I was writing, I was in AA, I was surrounded by women that I had something I wanted to experience. And I'm not saying what I did is something that will work for you. I'm simply sharing my experience. So as I'm speaking, if there's something that resonates with you, hold on to that and pay attention to what that is. What I went through, what I did may or may not work for you. But what I can do is share with you how I went from that to where I am today. And that by pouring into myself when I had lost everything, and I had people against me in the courtroom, okay? I was like being crucified. Oh my gosh, over and over. You have no idea how many court appearances I had to go to, how many sessions I had to go to. Ugh, It was it was so exhausting. It was so much. How many court papers I had to read on top of trying to work and see my child. Oh man, let me tell you, it really, really was all about the time that I had, and I removed myself from the distractions. I removed myself from people and situations that would pull me back into that way of being where I wanted to numb out or not pour into myself. So by doing this, right, it's given me the ability to be able to go through these times of now, of seeing what's happening in the world and how we as women and Black women and brown women, how we're being treated in our communities and our people. And I'm able to take that experience and see it in the current state of the world, and what I'm seeing happening to me and to all of us. And it's the same thing. It's just a different arena. I had no idea back then that I'd be where I'm at today. So, one of the things that really helped me was Michael Beckwith was on Oprah's Soul Sunday, I think. And he had posed a question, something like, who do I need to become, or who do I need to be or embody if this would last a lifetime? Because at that point in time, what I was going through felt like it was going to last a lifetime. It just seemed like it was never going to end. Even though I knew it would, I just didn't know when. And so for me at that time, the first thing that came up first was perseverance. I got to be someone that can persevere. Like that was a word that came to me. And that's what I focused on. How can I get through this day? Persevere through this day. And for me, that meant being in gratitude for what I did have in that moment. I had my body, I had a little bit of money, I had a community of people around me. And I was being loved. I was being loved, and I was being held and supported by people, women, amazing women. So I invite you to really think about what is yours that you're being called to be, to do, to have now as an individual. And also think, kind of like if we all start thinking this way, collectively, what are we being called to do and be as a group of women? All of this has happened all at once, right? And there's a reason for it. I know it's one of those things that's like, I don't want to hear about the reason, but it's true. When we go through something, there's like that birthing, right? We're in the labor pains right now. Something is seeking to emerge and be birthed from us as individuals and as a community and as a collective sisterhood. And if all of us, I just love the thought of this, if all of us went within and truly listened to within us, if you're spiritual, if you pray, if you believe in God, the universe, quantum physics, whatever it be, the higher power, something greater than yourself, all in one presence, whatever it is, if we rely on that, love, how you feel when you're in nature, those things, and focus on that as we are going through this time where we are in this big lesson of life together, if all of us just did that, imagine what it would be like in the next few years. I'm telling you, like, I just believe this with all of my heart and soul, because I've also seen the transformation of women in recovery programs. I've seen the transformation with clients that I've worked with. And when we are able to do that, like, what is possible for us, and when we're all coming from this place and way of being and pouring into ourselves and finding our calling, it's just going to be amazing. It already is. I'm just like getting excited talking about it. Your calling may be to, I don't know, maybe leave the type of work that you've been doing. Maybe your calling is to start a business. Maybe your calling is to go and to climb that corporate ladder, to bring your gift, the new, not even the new, the real you into the picture. The solid, grounded, peaceful, loving, joyful you. That no matter what happens, no matter what people say, no matter what is going on in the world, no matter how many times you got to see in the news and hear about, all of us being harmed, no matter what is going on, that nothing can like deter from you or remove from you who you really are. Because when we have that deep sense of purpose, and when we have that knowing inside of us that we are exactly where we're meant to be, and we know what is ours to do, I'm telling you, there's nothing that can stop us. There's nothing that can stop you. And then the ripple effect that this has on your family, on the community, on the people around you, it's beautiful. They'll see. I wrote about this on a post not long ago about people will see that there's something about you that you have that they want. Like, what is that? Like, she's something's different. And then they see your life. Like, gosh, she's just kind of moving through the world. Like, everything's going to be all right. Now, of course, things are going to happen. Things are going to continue to happen. And I will say, the longer that we're on this healing journey, when something does show up that is activating, we actually can feel it a lot stronger. I recently went through it last week. And but the duration is shorter, especially if you have the tools and the ability to calm your nervous system and to soothe yourself. So I've said a lot here, and why I wanted to bring this up is because it's just important to really, really reflect and slow down and to remove the noise of what is happening and what you're seeing in the news and on social media. And, there's, hit my mic. There's a lot of scarcity, fear-based things that are out there. And it's true, there's stuff going on that really is scary. Okay. But we ain't going nowhere. We are not going anywhere. And so why not, since we're not going anywhere, do it in a way that is so healing for ourselves, for our loved ones, so that we can leave our mark in the world. And so that those who are where we were before have hope in seeing where we are today. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Wanted to bring that forward. And if you're looking for a community, looking for some more support, please do feel free to join me every Friday. I have Prosperity Exchange. I post it on LinkedIn here. If you're not following me, follow me on LinkedIn if you're seeing this. You'll see the event when I post it every Friday. When you register once, you'll be invited to all of them. And this is a safe and brave space for all women of color to come together. We talk about things like this. We talk about maybe what somebody's going through, some sort of financial decision they need to make, or just whatever it is with emotions around money. I provide some education, financial education. It's just a wonderful space to be in. And it's something that I love being a part of. And I'm so glad I started it. And I'm getting wonderful feedback from the women that attend. So please do show up. There's no cost. It's me bringing this type of energy and space and community because I know it's needed and I've been called to do it. That's why I'm doing it, because I felt the calling and I went, whoop, let's go. So yeah, Prosperity Exchange. The next one is tomorrow, Friday. What's the date tomorrow? The 21st at 12 o'clock Pacific. Would love to see you there. And I suppose I just want to let you know that you are loved. I see you. I hear you. And if you ever want to get in touch, please do send me a message here on LinkedIn. Happy to connect, get to know you, what you're working towards, working on. If there's any way that I can support you, I will. Okay, that's all I got. And I will see you next.